This is episode 13 of What's Been Better. This week, we're talking about reality checks. Not all that we see, hear, or feel is always real. It's time to give ourselves a reality check.
This is Chocolate Drop, and I'm from ATL Shawty. A heads up to all the moms, mother-in-laws, or anyone else with sensitive ears. They cuss a little in this episode. So excuse me, baby, but y'all be alright. Peace.
Hey Sylvia, what has been better with you?
You know what? After we knocked out episode 12 and I really dissected the difference between feelings and emotions, not necessarily the difference, the connection between feelings and emotions, I just feel better. I feel better.
Awesome. That's
I
awesome.
don't know. The jury's still out about crying, but I feel better.
Well,
And
tell
that's
me
enough.
what, and it is. I think that's awesome. But what difference is that making for you to know the connection?
You know what? I think every week when we tackle something in these episodes, it is such a burden released in corners of my mind that I don't necessarily know are burdens. Is baggage that I'm just putting down and not trying to go back and pick up like, oh no, I might need that later. I'm not doing that anymore. So it's just,
Nice.
it's lightening me in a way. Like, yeah, it's like opening up space in my chest to just like breathe a little deeper.
That's awesome.
So,
I'm excited to hear that.
yeah. So what's been better for you?
I'm excited about what we're doing. And every time we have another podcast, I feel more comfortable in this seat. I love the fact that we're connecting with people all over the world. Like that gives me so much joy.
Yeah.
To know that there are people out here listening, and I know that you could listen to anything you want, and for you to take your time to listen to us, I'm very appreciative. I'm very grateful, and I'm humbled. And I hope that someone, really is moved, and there are better. Like, so when I even say to you, Sylvia, what's been better, I'm saying that to everybody. Like, let's check in with ourselves to see what's been better in our lives, because the focus is we focus on the problem, especially in a session, right? Because this is a session kind of,
Yeah.
And
in a way.
And so when someone sits down for therapy, they immediately start going to the problem. And who I am as a therapist, I'm a solution focused therapist. So I say what's been better. So I can put you in the mindset of thinking about how you overcame. Like, because everything is not going to be better, really. But like, say if you had a horrible day, well, how did you prevent it from being even worse? That's better.
Right.
That's the whole point. It's like, how did you keep it from being worse? Right. Or think about how this could have gone wrong, but it didn't. How? Right. So I just love being in this position. I'm very thankful. I'm so excited that we even thought enough to come to this place to do it.
It's still, y'all, 12 episodes, 13 episodes in, and I'm still like, oh, so we really are out here doing this.
Yes,
because
it
was just, it was such a on the whim thing. And like, when we got started, I was in a totally different place. Like, I don't want to even remember where I was 13 episodes ago.
Right.
I'm on such a different, I'm vibrating on such a higher level now that it's like, I don't even want to know what level I was on back then, because this is just, and it was such a like, I mean, we should do a podcast. Yeah, let's try a podcast. It was just so like, okay, maybe not. Okay, are we doing this? Okay, are we not? okay, we're doing this. Oh shit, we're gonna put this live out to other. Oh shit, okay. And now, like, yeah, people around the world are listening to us. Like, and welcome to the people of Ireland who are listening to us because I was very shocked to see that one. And new states are popping up, new people are popping up. I'm hearing like from people that they are passing this on to friends, family, parents. And yeah, like I feel the same deep sense of appreciation
Mm-hmm.
to open myself up and be this transparent in it and have people say, this is helping me too. Or, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that has happened to me. Like I'm I really did start this as like a selfish thing of like, let me get the help. And if it helps other people, I really don't care at this point. But now I'm like, no, no, no. This wasn't necessarily about me.
Right.
This was such a
Right.
bigger thing. It was always bigger than me.
Right. Yes, absolutely. It's bigger than both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's helped you in many ways. It's helped me too. And one of the ways it's helped me is to get over my fear of speaking,
Yeah.
public speaking, because I can sit in my office and talk to people and say what I need to say, and not be the least bit bothered.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can say yes to other speaking engagements, which
That's cool.
is wild for me. Like people ask me to speak on this or speak on that, and I'm like, okay. Like, what did you
Right.
say? You
You're
just
not
said
even
yes.
thinking
It just
about it.
rolled
I
off.
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's helping me to take apart the stigma around mental health also,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
that could be such a shameful thing for people. And
Right.
to me, it's like, I think you said it a couple of episodes ago, like, fuck it, we are all bunkers.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
we all got
Yep.
something. And it's making me realize that I'm not alone in any of this. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
know that we're each in our own movie, but sometimes we have crossover episodes.
Yes, we do. And sometimes we have people from their own movie be guest, they guest star in our movie
Yes.
a lot of
Yes.
times.
Yeah.
For instance, your husband, he guest stars in your movie all the time.
And he's good at it. Yeah.
You
Top
know?
billing.
Hey.
Yeah. And I have some very good bond ships, because I definitely ditched the word friendships a couple episodes ago also, that
Mm-hmm.
they are strengthened and I appreciate them even more now
That's
after
so
going through
beautiful.
this. So yeah, it's just this is just doing all kinds of tricks.
I love it. And
So
that is the premise and the hope, right?
yeah,
That everyone who is a part of this, who listens to this, they're better.
yeah.
Because we're good. And somebody said, I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "I'm good and I'm getting better."
I
And
love it.
that's and he said, "Don't steal that from me, Laura." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take it." But that's the whole point. We want to be
Mhm.
good and getting better
Yeah,
always. So
yeah.
yes,
And we want to hear from those people as well. Y'all write us, send us voice messages at questions at whatsbeenbetter.com and tell us what's been better for you, because this isn't just about us. This is about our whole entire community. And this thing reaches out to everyone. So we definitely want to hear from you.
yes,
Please,
absolutely.
please,
Tell us
and
what's
thank
been
you.
better.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Tell
So
us.
let's get into this reality check situation, because I think also this show has been a reality check. I've been
Mm-hmm.
feeling better, been doing better, been trying to just keep myself. It's like a balloon that's got a little bit of, it's a little deflated, just a little, but keep it
Mm-hmm.
up in the air. And I think reality sometimes hits me a little bit harder than I'm ready for. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. I know the lessons. I know the lessons. But lately, especially in the last, I would say week and a half, it's just been a like, oh, that's not what I thought it was. like a coming back down to earth kind of scenario for me, even as far as like health. I thought I was doing better. I went to the doctor. My doctor was like, no, ma'am, you got some work to do. So
Right.
it's kind of that feeling of like, oh no, you still got to do the work, and you got to be
Mm-hmm.
willing to do the work.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. So I'm interested to get into this episode because it's been a lot of crazy stuff in the media and made both of us kind of be like, oh shit, did you see that? So,
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's funny. We were both out of town. I was just getting off the plane and I got a text from my fiance saying, did you know that Kevin Samuel died? I was like, what? Like,
yeah,
I thought this shit was a joke.
for real. I was
So
like,
then I
okay, what
Googled
else
it
can he
and it's
do?
all over the place. You said
I,
what?
I thought it was another like, okay, what else is he up to? Because I mean, he had what, 1 million followers on both YouTube and Instagram, to which I'm just like, who are these million people? But yeah, I just thought it was like some stunt.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then to see like how he possibly died, what
Yeah.
happened, all of that was just
Right.
kind of like, what the like,
Right.
okay, so you were leading like a very interesting life. And then
Yeah.
you told me that like not all that glitters is gold, that he wasn't like well off or anything.
No, in fact, I just looked this up. So I'm not, I mean, who knows if it's actually true, but he died with like a less than $1,000 in his bank account.
Which is
And
just like
from
wild.
mm-hmm. And for me, I couldn't give two shits about how much money he has. And I probably heard him like 2 or 3 times. In fact, I heard him a little bit more after he passed than even listening to him while he was alive because he's
Mm-hmm.
very triggering.
Yeah.
And it's baffling to me how um, an African American man could really be disparaging to his sisters, his like anybody that is in his family, like the whole
Mm-hmm.
African American female community, right?
Right.
Like, what is that about? And so what I realized is he was a very hurt man, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but it doesn't look like that, but
No,
he was a very hurt man because you can't be a happy person tearing somebody down.
no. And you can't be, I don't think that you could be like self help guru or, I'm doing this to like build Black men up while you're tearing down Black women because like I feel like that like cancels it out at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think for me, like what was the wild thing was, okay, so if you've been here long enough, you know that like I'm on social media, pick a platform. So seeing seeing Twitter just like go up in flames of like Black women being like, whatever, we could care less, good riddance, bye,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and Black men being like, you are so heartless. How don't be like that? Like he was trying to help. And it's like, help who?
Right.
Help who? And I don't have to care about this person who definitely did not care about me.
Mm-hmm. and
Especially
and
like,
that's real.
yeah, especially like knowing that like he really disparaged educated Black women or Black women
Mm-hmm.
that were like well to do, that were like forward thinking, independent, could do all the things. He was really against that. And I always think that that is wild.
Yeah.
And it
he
doesn't even
he
matter what race. It's any man that does not appreciate a woman taking control of her own life.
right. Exactly. In
Like,
fact, one
yeah.
one episode that I don't know if it's an episode, I don't know what the hell he calls it, but he had somebody call in and she called herself a boss.
Mm-hmm.
And he had an issue with her calling herself a boss because she didn't have any employees, but she
The
owned her
fuck?
own company because it was just right. That's what I'm saying. It's the ignorance. And what I found as I listened to him, because he was on for like 18 minutes, what he does is, it's like, I don't know if anybody ever heard when people say mixing truth and error. So he mixes a little bit of the truth with a little bit of error, and then he makes the girl feel bad about what she's saying and puts her down. It's classic narcissistic shit. And
Yeah.
so, and I felt so bad because he eviscerated this girl. And I'm thinking to myself, why call? Like,
Okay. Like, oh my God. My husband said the same exact thing. And I said the same thing. Like, why would you put yourself through that? You know what he's about.
mm-hmm,
Okay. The first caller, first ever caller. Okay. Maybe you didn't know what you were getting into.
right.
But a million people later who have tapped
Right.
into this person,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell are you? Why are you adding to this?
Right. But because you're not going to be right. Like, even if you're
No.
right, he's not going to allow you to be right.
And
There's
those people
something
get
he's
on my
going to do to
nerves.
pick you apart. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's unfortunate. So while he died, and I'm not like, yay, the wicked witch man is dead. I'm not doing that. But at the same time, his voice is silenced.
Yes.
And I'm thankful for that, because he didn't do anything to uplift.
No.
He was tearing down. And if you uplift one and tear down another, you're not doing any justice. So anything he was doing to help men, he really didn't, because he's not helping the counterpart. I don't give a crap what ethnicity or cultural background you are, what race you are. Love.
Right.
But he was spewing hate.
Mm-hmm.
And really, and I've shared this before in some of the previous podcasts, there are only two emotions. It's only love and it's fear. Only love and it's only fear. And everything negative, or, and what we talked about in the last episode about a lower vibration, it's associated with fear. And when you speak hate, you speak fear. And he wasn't speaking love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sad part. And we already have issues with Black men and Black women. We're already having this disparity between each other. He widened that.
Yeah.
And he caused more harm than good, much more harm.
Yeah.
And that's so unfortunate. He set
The
us back.
the really hard part about the internet is that those things live on in perpetuity. And so,
Yeah.
yes, his voice is dimmed and we won't have any new nonsense to come out.
Well, we don't know that, but
This is
God willing. We don't know.
Jesus, God willing.
Yeah.
It's there's got to be a pause somewhere. But the scary part to me, the part that vibrates very low, is that somebody else somewhere else might pick that ball up and run with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
well,
like,
he has a lot of followers.
Right.
So
a
yeah,
million.
even in death, he has a lot of followers.
A million. I cannot even imagine a million followers go along with this. But then you look at Donald Trump and how many he had. And you look at other negative people and the amount of people that are like, they don't even have to do any work anymore. Right. Somebody else is repeating this horribleness. So
yeah, it's hurtful, but it comes from a place of hurt. So that's the other thing people want to know. You can't do any of the things that he did without hurting, because hurt people hurt people.
Right.
If he was a loving man, he wouldn't be that way. It's impossible. You can't be loving and caring and tear somebody down at the same time. It is impossible. So, yeah.
It's just really, yeah, it was really rough. It was really rough to see the arguments in the comments. And it was like, y'all, we need to be, I always feel like there's so much information out for us. We all know the background of why there is that gap between Black men and Black women. We all can do the research. We can all find the information. We can all go back and back and back, however many generations. It's time now to close the gap and get on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
been
we could
time.
talk about that.
Right. It's been time. So it's just, it's so super disparaging to see and disappointing to see
Mm-hmm.
people
Mm-hmm.
perpetuate that cycle.
Right. Right. And I would love to have a conversation with men about how to, come together with their counterpart,
Mhm.
their female counterpart, and females having conversations with them on how to come together with their male counterpart to bring love back into the conversation instead of hate.
Yeah.
How can we love each other? How can we come together? How can we encourage each other? And I think, like our last episode, when we talk about emotions, I think it would be good for men to really tap into their emotions because they haven't been taught to express their emotion. A lot of times they don't even know what they're feeling. Like
Mhm.
you were able to talk about how you were feeling last time. Sometimes they don't know. They only get like happy or mad, right? Or
Right.
angry or sad. It's more than that.
Mhm.
Right. And then to own it. A lot of times men dismiss their feelings because they feel shame, which
Yeah.
is that low one, right? Because they don't want to own that feeling. Because if they do own it, they have to sit with it. But they don't realize that they can sit with it and get better. The same thing
Mhm.
with women, because I'm going to tell you, out of those 100, those million followers, I can imagine there were a lot of women who follow him too.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
mm-hmm, it's because
Absolutely.
it's all self-hatred. All of that is self-hatred. And so Kevin Samuel is someone who he was self-loathing, but
Mhm.
nobody's going to recognize that. But
Yeah.
you can't be hateful to a woman unless you're hateful to yourself first.
And self-hate is a hell of a drug.
It is. And it
That
has a lot
that
of
should
friends.
fuck you up. Yes, it will. Yeah.
It has a
Yeah.
lot of friends.
It's got a lot of tentacles that just got little suckers on the ends of them. But yeah, it's also, I want to pivot to the opposite of this spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
It's also disparaging and disappointing to see someone who is positive be ripped down by somebody like a Kevin Samuels or like his followers.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge fan of Lizzo. I think
Mm-hmm.
that she is just so damn powerful.
Right.
I've never seen somebody love themselves so hard
Mm-hmm.
that it makes other people love themselves too.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, that's contagious. And I have a friend who talks about that, about being contagious.
Mm-hmm.
That, yes, like you said in the last episode about vibrating on a higher frequency, is like, that is a contagious thing. And that, I think that's why I get so happy about seeing other people win, especially people
Right.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's contagious. It makes me want to go out and win. I don't
Right.
necessarily have to do the same thing that you do, but it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that thing I wanted to get done, fuck it, let's do it.
Right.
Because
Right.
they're getting it done. So
Right.
I need to get up and get done, whatever it is.
And it can be considered borderline delusional, right?
Hell yeah.
So, right, because
Absolutely.
sometimes you have to be a little bit delusional
Mm-hmm.
because to live in your own world, right, or live in your own movie, it's gonna, like when because you got constant, like you said, uh, people coming in, guest speakers or guest
Mm-hmm. Guest
uh,
stars. Yeah.
right, guest stars on there, and if you buy into what they're selling, it's easy to get pulled into their movie, right? Instead of staying in your own. So in a sense, you got to be just a little bit delusional to have that tunnel vision to say, I am the shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
Lizzo really, really stepping into her greatness, her genius, her power, and say, this is who I am. And I could give two shits about what other people think, or I don't care about what other
Yeah.
people think. You have to be in that space.
And to keep doing it and to keep going higher and further and higher and further, and healing all at the same time while she's doing that,
Yeah.
because her song About Damn Time is just her healing out loud,
Mm-hmm.
and triggering in people like me. Okay, heal that part. Okay, heal that part
Right.
too. Realize, like you say all the time, Lori, feel your feelings, notice what you're
Mm-hmm.
noticing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, it's, I think in me being able to vibrate on a higher level and to have this reality check is also me realizing um a lot of things that I didn't want to pay attention to,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird because it's like, are you trying to do the work or not?
Right.
Because if you say you're doing the work, you have to notice these things.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, I
Well,
think I was like, I'll just get to that part later. And it's like, no, 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 no. You need to engage with whatever it is so we can move on.
mm-hmm. It's the how. So how do you do it?
Um, it's it's acknowledging it first,
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging that there's some kind of hurt somewhere, there's a hole in
Right.
my armor somewhere. But
Right.
it's also realizing that the more I am healing, the more I'm attracting other people that are healing.
That is so true.
And that
That is
shit feels great.
absolutely true. Yes. And it's also practicing,
Yeah.
practicing feeling better, practicing positive words to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
practice affirming yourself and expecting to continue to affirm yourself instead of expecting other people to,
Yeah.
right? Affirm you and love you. And that takes practice.
And I think it's also realizing that, like, you were just saying something about like the negative, the person that's on the negative level is kind of dragging you back into it, or they're dragging other people into
Mm-hmm.
it, and they become those
Mm-hmm.
followers.
Mm-hmm.
I was very guilty of that before. It's like somebody get into it with somebody, okay, we all don't like them anymore. Okay, well,
Wow.
now that person is still dealing with that other person who made them feel bad, who we all turned against, but now they're all right with it. And that's something I realized is like, I can't hold somebody else's grudges for them. If you're not even bare
Wow.
minimum upset about it, you don't even give a damn about it. Why am I expending any energy that you're not willing to give?
Right.
I was willing to
Right.
go to war for you. I was ready. Like we could do whatever
Right.
today, tomorrow, however. But you saying that like you're fine with it, you passive about it.
Mm-hmm.
The hell am I over here holding this grudge for? This is heavy. I don't need
Mm-hmm.
this. I
Right.
got enough baggage from back there. I don't need somebody else's baggage. Like it's something I just been realizing. Like I really came like hard into focus this week for me. It's
Mm-hmm.
like just laser sharp into
Yeah.
focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this it's another reality check of like, what baggage are you holding and is all of it yours?
Right. Well, tell me this, Sylvia, how did you do that? How did you decide to let go of, I'm gonna hold this grudge for you no more? How did you get that? How'd you get
Listening
to
to the
that?
other person and believing the other person, because I 100% believe is Maya Angelou's statement about when somebody tells you who you are, you're supposed to believe them.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell me that you're not bothered by this situation that I could have swore we were all bothered by, the hell am I upset for? But here's the other
Mm-hmm.
thing. I still don't have to like the situation.
Right.
But going back to the last episode, my feelings about it are still like, nah, forget that other person. My emotion now turns from, yes, holding a grudge on a low level vibration to kind of a neutral of like, you here, I'm here. We don't have to interact. We don't have to we don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with it.
Right.
Because before
Right.
I was like, I don't even want to be involved. I don't want to be near. I don't want to be far. I don't want to be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, you over there breathing. All right. I'm over here vibing. All right. You know,
Right.
it's very different, but it was just another reality check.
Yeah. I think it's um an example of that is like you're married and your sister did something foolish, or not even so much that your sister is her husband is not the nicest, or they had a fight or something. And
Mm-hmm.
so meanwhile, they had a fight and you mad at that brother-in-law, and meanwhile sister is she's over it, and you still mad at
Right.
brother-in-law.
For what?
Right.
For
And so
what?
the biggest thing is to, one, step out of people's business, but number two is to recognize, one, when you're mad, you don't stay mad. Emotions come and they go. So
Mm-hmm.
when you hold a grudge, you got to ask yourself, what are you doing this for? How is this serving you?
Right. Right. And
And then especially
it's
when you
not.
hold it for somebody else who's over it, and you still, like, emotions come and go. So how is it that you holding on to this emotion, and how is it helping you? Most of the
Also,
time, definitely not helping.
also, hey, say like it's not your business. Don't drag anybody else in your business though. If
Absolutely.
you don't want me to
That
hold
true.
this grudge for you or have your back or um yeah, be on your side or whatever. All right, I'm gonna bring up an old one. Here we go. Don't rehearse that shit with me.
Right. That.
I'm using Lori's words now. Do not rehearse the situation with me if you don't want me
Mhm.
to. Because, okay, I'm speaking for me in particular. Remember, I am extremely loyal. I am ready for whatever for whoever if they are my people, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. If they are
Right.
your people, if they're your blood, if
Right.
they're your bond, if they are
Mhm.
whatever, you're supposed to be
Mhm.
down for them.
Right.
But you, yeah, don't tell me anything where you needed backup. And then a little while later, you're like, oh man, it was fine. No, it wasn't. You were in a shitty situation.
Right.
You
Right.
said you were in a shitty situation. I confirmed with you that you were in a shitty situation.
Mhm.
What are we doing?
Right. Right.
And I think
Yeah.
another thing too is like when you ask me like how did I do it? Okay, in another bit of like things attracting to me,
Mhm.
I'm hearing music that is so it's not new music, but it's
Mm.
so prolific now that I'm on this path. It has such
Right.
different meaning to me.
Okay.
So Bag Lady by Erica Badu has such
Mhm.
a different meaning now.
Okay. What was the meaning before?
It was just a bop before. It didn't even I understood what she was saying. Like you got
Mhm.
baggage, you're carrying it, whatever.
Mhm.
Now it's like very detailed and like you can't hurry up. You can't catch a bus because you got too much stuff. You're
Mhm.
literally dragging, you're moving slow because you're carrying all this weight for no reason. Put that shit
Mhm.
down.
Right. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Literally, you know,
Love
um,
this song.
Kendrick Lamar put out The Heart Part 5 this weekend. And
Mhm.
I mean, I audibly gasped when he turned into Will Smith.
Mhm.
And then like a little tear came out when he turned into Nipsey Hussle. And he started
Mm.
talking in Nipsey Hussle's voice. And I was just like, oh man, this again, a reality check. I was like, these are all
Mhm.
black men that we
Mm.
needed and we sacrificed.
Well, and so that's the thing, right? That's what I was trying to understand, because the first person was the football player.
It was
Can't.
OJ. It was
Oh yeah,
OJ.
OJ. Yeah. And so I was wondering, like, I was looking for the meaning in all these people, because he had OJ, he had
Jesse Smollett. He had Will Smith,
mm-hmm,
Kobe Bryant.
mm-hmm.
Um,
What about Kobe? Because,
oh, the
like,
rape charges. The rape charges
okay,
way back. And then think about his
okay,
death and people brought that back
mm,
up. And then yeah,
that's
I
right,
think it was a
okay.
lot of
Because I was
that.
wondering, yeah,
To
and
me,
then,
I haven't seen like anybody else's analysis on it
mm-hmm,
or Kendrick Lamar's analysis of it. I mean, but
mm-hmm,
it's okay. I watched it back to back. I watched it twice. Like I just literally turned it back on. My husband was like, "You got to come here. You got to come watch this." So he turned
mm-hmm.
it on and he walked out of the room.
Oh
And when he walked
wow.
out of the room, I was like, "Okay, again, it was just a bop. I was
Mm-hmm.
just bobbing my head to it. It was cool." And then I started like really listening.
Listening to what he was saying, yeah, because
Yeah,
he also
and
had
then
Kanye. I think Kanye was the second one
Kanye
after
was,
OJ.
yeah. So it,
Mm-hmm.
it took me a little while. So it was like OJ, then it was Kanye, and then I think, and then it's Will Smith. And that's when I was like, oh
Mhm.
no. Oh
So
no.
how would you say that they threw or disparaged or threw him away or did him wrong? What, with the slap or what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. So you got Kanye
Mhm.
going through everything he's going through right now, and previous.
Mhm.
Like everybody, he's crazy, he's whatever, he's eccentric,
Mhm.
he's egotistical, narcissistic, all the things that he's been labeled as. Then you got OJ
Right.
with that whole thing, and OJ being like, "I'm not
Mhm.
black, I'm OJ," and um, all of that. And then I just, yeah, all of the beginning people, I was like, man, this is rough. But it was like
Yeah.
a dagger to the heart when he turned into Nipsey Hussle and started like
Right. And,
talking to Lauren
yeah.
London and like talking to his brother Big Sam. And I was just like, oh. And then I was like, man, I hope he called and forewarned these people, because if they saw this for the first time with the
I
rest of
know.
us,
That's why I was wondering, did he get permission to do that? If that
I
was
don't
something that he was
know.
able to get permission for.
I don't
And he turned
know.
into Nipsey Hussle twice toward the
Yeah.
end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought that was,
Yeah, wants to turn into Nipsey to like talk to Lauren London and his kids, and wants to turn into him again to talk to his brother, and like
oh,
knowing the backstory and knowing like the relationship, and like Nipsey
yeah.
Hussle's death is one that hit me pretty hard, because I got turned on to this Nipsey Hussle like literally weeks before his death. And I went
Oh,
like
wow.
head
And
first. Like I was like, oh man, this is it. Like this dude is great. Like he's, yeah.
that's
And
so
then he was
beautiful. And it's
gone.
so, man, and I'm in such my own world, which I feel like a oracle or some shit. Like I don't know, but I don't know what's going on. Right.
Yeah.
I'm so focused on uh trying to help people be their best self. So when people tell me things, I'm like, who is that? Well, what happened?
Yeah.
So I didn't find out about Nipsey until he died. Really. I was like, who
Yeah.
is Nipsey? I'm thinking Nipsey Russell? Nipsey Russell?
Right.
What?
Right. Yeah. Like,
But I did look him up, and he's a remarkable young man. And I did know his girl,
mm-hmm.
Lauren London, because I
Yeah.
saw her in a few different shows. And I didn't even know that they were together. But
Oh, okay.
but they had such a beautiful love story, and I think that's just so
Yes.
sweet, you know.
But yeah, we
So
we were robbed of a powerful voice
mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm,
was a voice of a generation, that
yeah,
I truly believe, had he been given more time, we would all be better for it.
yeah, yeah,
So, but you can't kill a good idea. You can't
yeah.
kill
No,
a
you can't.
movement. And
Right.
as he would say, the marathon continues,
Yeah, and it
because,
does.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like, but that's the reality of the situation. To come back to the show, this episode is like, there are people that are, like you said, that are hurt, that are willing to hurt any and everybody, even the people that are trying to help.
Right. Because in this world, and that's one of the reasons why I think this podcast is so poignant and necessary. There's a lot of hurt in this world. There's a lot of anger in this world, and people are wanting to harm. And so, as much as we could shed some light on love and getting better and how to, because it's not enough for us to say, "Hey, let's get better." It's important to say how. Like, what are the
Yeah.
steps to this? And because we are a nation now, or the world is driven by social media, it's so much hypocrisy, there's so much fakeness and posturing there, that we don't know what's real and what's not.
No.
And so it's really to do a soul search and check in with ourselves, really do a reality check,
Yeah.
because we can get really pulled into the bullshit that's out here, especially like on Instagram, when you have people flossing and fronting and stunting and all these
Mm-hmm.
things. projecting this idea of a thing. And it's cool to want better things and lovely things, but it's not necessarily cool when you're not being honest and you're projecting this image of things. And then people are breaking their neck, going into debt, killing themselves,
Right.
trying to compete with an image that's not even real.
It's something I used to say, especially about when we lived in the Middle East. Not all the palm trees are always real. And the grass on the other side across the street is not green because it's well taken care of. It's because it's fake.
Mm,
So
wow.
it's this moment of realization that you don't have to, and then you just fill in the blank. You don't have to
Mm,
keep up. You don't have to do the
mm,
same. You don't have to do anything. You
mhm.
just got to
You
do
don't have
you.
right. You don't have to care about what other people think about you. Like
Hell
that's the
no.
biggest thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that about Lizzo. And I hope that, and I understand too. So I'm clear that on our best day, some bullshit jumps off and we need, some encouragement and things like that. So I also know that, Lizzo goes through her thing because
Mm-hmm.
people body shame her all the time.
Which is
And
just holy
right.
bullshit.
And I hope that she's not necessarily reading all the hate mail or all the hate posts or the hate comments that come through. But as much as you try to do right or try to present a positive image, you're going to have someone who hates themselves and project that hate on you. The biggest thing is you have to recognize that it's not about you. When anybody, I don't care what it is, even if they call you pretty, it's still not about you. Nothing people say is about you. It's always about them. It's
Mm-hmm.
always about them and they're projecting.
Yeah.
So I just have to say that, and I'm going to continue to, so we can really reprogram our thinking and understand we have to be loving to ourselves, and we have to recognize that what we want, we have to project first to ourselves, and hopefully we won't harm other people.
Yeah. Like just let people live. And
Yeah.
I think I gotta say this. I think I really understand what you mean about love and fear because
Mm-hmm.
I really see it in because I'm like the complete opposite of you. Like you're not tuned into stuff. I'm tuned into everything. So I
Mm-hmm.
see all the fear that people are projecting,
Yeah.
the abortion ban, the
Mm-hmm.
Voting Rights Act, the baby formula is now like running out,
Mm.
inflation, war, all these like crazy ass things that they didn't have to happen in the first place. COVID numbers
Right.
going up. That shit didn't have to happen. This is
Mm.
a totally preventable thing. Why
Right.
the hell are we still telling people like, oh, go out and live your life? It's fine. Don't care about the next person. Don't put a mask on. It's fine.
Right.
Be comfortable.
Wow.
The
Mm.
hell? Like we could be over so many things if we would get
Right.
over our fear of being uncomfortable, our fear of being inconvenienced, our fear of like, I'm going to lose control over these people's bodies who aren't my own body. My body
Right.
doesn't even do the same shit that body does. Why
Right.
do I
And
care?
exactly. And again, when we talk about misogyny and men who hate women, like first of all, you can't have a baby. You
Can't.
you don't have a cycle. Like you don't you don't you don't have the things that women have. So how do you imagine taking control of that? Right? Like allow us to control our bodies. We're not telling you where to go urinate, or we're not telling you what to do with it. We're not trying to take your Viagra from you. Like, come on. And
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 if we
what if
could,
there was a right? Yes, what if there was a ban on Viagra of all the impotent
I just
brothers out
feel
there who
like I saw it the other day. If you want to say that women giving birth should be God's will and that it doesn't matter if it's a case of rape or a case of incest, that they should still be forced to carry the baby, or a 12-year-old girl or a 13-year-old girl who can't vote, can't drive, can't drink, can't do anything, but they should be forced to carry a baby, then damn, impotence should be God's will too. Your shit should just
Mm.
not work. It should just be it just shouldn't work. God's will.
And, and
Can't
and so
afford to pay for the
imagine,
Viagra.
right? Imagine that. But the thing is, let's be compassionate and loving, and say,
Mm-hmm.
listen, we want you to get it up. We want you to feel empowered by having an erection, even if you have to do it mechanically or with medication. We want to see you prosper. We want to see you feel good about yourself. So if having an abortion is going to build our self-esteem or help us to feel good about a situation that has not helped us feel good because we've been raped or we've been something that caused us to not want to carry that baby to term, let that be our right. Let that be our prerogative,
Mm-hmm.
because I there's something that's going on that would have them decide not to,
Yeah.
whatever that is, whatever that is, let that be between them and their creator.
Yeah. And it's just, you can just see the fear. If you turn on the TV, if you turn on social media, you can see people's fear coming out. And it just, I see why you say, like, it's just not helpful. It's just
Mm-mm,
not.
it's
And
not.
I
It's not
think, yeah,
helpful.
if we led with love, we would
Mm-hmm.
we would have so much more progress.
Yes, we would.
Things would be
Yes, we
so
would.
much more prosperous for everyone. But I think fear won't let us have equality. Fear won't let us have integration for real. Fear won't let us have diversity. Fear doesn't want those things because, like you said, fear
Mhm.
has friends.
Right, right. Fear
So
won't let us be great.
I guess we just got to have
However,
hope that it'll change.
thank you. And that's the thing. And so there's going to be such a polarity, and it's actually now, it's actually happening. We're so polarized in our thinking. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why a lot of times I don't um, get involved. Like, even I'm practicing, even in my family, when people start talking and saying stuff about somebody else, I just kind of go a different direction because I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to hear the gossip. I just don't want to be a part of it, because what it does is it starts to bring that fear in.
Yeah.
Because again, fear, you're right, fear has friends,
Mm-hmm.
jealousy, again, bitterness, contentment, you know, you have contempt for somebody else or resentment. All that's fear, you
Yeah.
know.
I
So
I see the necessity in it of like not tapping in. My I'm going to use the word fear here. My fear is though that too many people won't tap in, and the negativity, the fear, all the things that are coming from those people will prosper instead. Because we can't continue to vibrate on a higher level and leave that over there, but it still affects us.
it does. But
So
one of the things that I know for sure is that love is going to conquer all. I don't know how, but that's a promise. And I believe in the Bible. I believe the principles that's there. And it said that love will conquer. I don't know how, because it looks like it
yeah.
looks like fear is going to win. It looks like evil is going to conquer, but it's not,
Hmm.
right? So light is going to conquer darkness. It is. And I'm not even going to try to figure out how that's going to happen. All I can do is do my part, right? And so, and I can't worry, I can't fear, right? I have to stay the course. I have to
Mm-hmm.
believe and hope for the best. There
Yeah.
is an invitation. It's always an invitation to fear. It's always, right? But I'm choosing to accept the invitation to love. I'm choosing to accept the invitation to believe the best. And that's why I always ask what's been better. That's all I got.
Mm,
And us being better and striving to be better, that conquers fear.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I guess we just all go about it in a different path. Because I feel like, yeah, we could all be better. I feel like there is better. I think I'm just on a path of like letting people know that the alternative is better.
Exactly.
I'd rather people be informed of the alternative.
Exactly.
So
Let's
yeah.
keep it going.
Yeah. All right. I'm good. Are you good?
I am.
We
I
could
think
call
that's
this.
a good one.
Yeah.
We can call it.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Bye. That's it for this week's show. I'm Lori Scott.
And I'm Sylvia Johnson. And you've been listening to What's Been Better.
A big thank you to Lagan Music Inc. for providing our music. This show is edited and produced by us with a little help from our family and friends. We love you all.
We want to hear what's been better for you this week. So send us a voice message or an email to questions@whatsbeenbetter.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at What's Been Better Podcast.
Thanks for listening.